you always tell this interesting story about, and I think it's this action, uh, as to you guys came close to getting folks out, but then a torch kind of stopped working. Yeah. So again, statute of limitations are over for this.
Listen, the reason I ever talk about it, I had to make sure the statute of limitations ran out. I ain't trying to go back, but and I felt like once this one lawyer told me that the statute of limitations ran out, and I found out I was already doing time, and I'm like, I know at some point they're gonna come for me for this. And my lawyer let me know, well, they can't come down because they done waited too long. I said, well,
I don't want to jump ahead too much, but because, I want you to tell this story first. Can you tell that story? Because I want to go back into your history.
Okay.
About how you wound up locked up yourself.
Yeah.
But tell this, because there's always this.
I was about to say, because a lot of this already is like for people who are already somewhat well initiated. And I'm thinking not only for myself, but some of the students I intend to show this to, they need to hear some of that background. I need to hear some of the details as well. So please.
Right. Well, it was when I came back from North Carolina, and we, working with Safi out of the Harlem office. And mind you, this is all this time too, like Blood, Thomas McCrary is locked up, Deruba's locked up and stuff. And sometimes I would hear Blood share some stories, and I'm like, well, Blood, while he was in, he don't know some of these other things because he's locked up. But it's the story of the continuation of the Black Panther Party work and the Black Panther, the Black Liberation Army work, because the newspapers would let you know that they done broke the back of the BLA and all this other madness, but here we are doing that work. So the thing is to get Noah and them out. And so the first—
You're talking about Albert Noah Washington. Right?
Albert Noah Washington.
Okay,
I gotta remember to give the names. Thank you. So they had some information from inside that there was a tunnel that led up under the tombs, the Manhattan House of Detention. And so the first thing was, okay, let's see if we can find this tunnel. So one night, here we are down in that area, and wee hours of the morning too, figured, well, ain't nobody gonna be around, lifting up the manhole covers and seeing if someone go down and see if there's a tunnel that leads up under the tomb, so that we could get them out that way. But once one of the comrades went down, there was a John Q. citizen somewhere, saw these niggas, I don't know if I can say that on the but next thing we know, here come the police cars, and we get arrested. The newspapers called us the sewer rats, so here we are, we in Rikers Island and stuff, but really
what was the charge for that?
The charge was tampering with the manhole covers. So that property, right? So they we was in there for several days, Safia, myself, and two other comrades. When you see the newspaper, if you see the newspaper photo, you see Safia, they got her chain in the first, and the rest of us are behind her. So the only thing we found out about it from the newspaper articles is they couldn't figure out why it was going in the manhole covers. They thought it because the building right next to it was a prison. It was a part of the city prison system, and in there, one of the offices held the plans of all the prisons in New York State. So they thought we was after that. So we get out several days later on our own reconnaissance. So we're supposed to, go back for trial at some point, but we got to get back on this new plan. The new plan is to get them out from the tombs itself, from the visiting room. So every day we go on the trial, we're sitting in the court with them, and we bring them food. So we developed this relationship with the guards. Here's their food, all this stuff. It's just that one particular day, here we are, we got the same bag, which is supposed to have the food in it, but out come the guns. The guard, we took the guards, we handcuffed them, took them to the bathroom, and handcuffed them to the toilets. Feeling like that's a good place for them to be because it's a shitty job that they do. All right. We proceed to the visiting room. They already in the visiting room waiting for us to visit. I opened the bag and I had kind of to give myself a crash course in this acetylene torch because the comrade that was supposed to do it couldn't do it at the time. So I'm like, well, I got to get in the backyard and try to figure out how to do this thing, and did the best I could. So once we in there was another guard up there. We secured him. So now it's just us in the visiting room. It's a metal wall with glass, thing to see, and you use the phone to talk. So while everybody's got their positions, got everything secured, I proceed to cut. And I cut all the way around 4 corners until I get to maybe about 2 inches to go, and the oxygen tank runs out. And places where the metal was hot, other places, it kind of drips. So in some ways it's kind of difficult. You can't kick it. One of the sisters wanted to be like, can we shoot it? I'm like, no, we can't do that. And when it was clear that we wasn't going to be able to do it, we had to turn the no on them and say.
So you could see them on the other side.
Yeah, they had it. Listen, they did their part. They secured their part on that side, and we secured ours on this side. And when it was clear that we couldn't do it, we had to say, listen, we got to go. And it was like, what had,
wow.
Even thinking about it now, two of the sisters, it was on this mission as well. It was also their partners. Our comrades was their partners as well. So it was like really kind of hurtful, but it's like, yo, man, it is what it is. We got to go. And as easy as we was able to go in there and secure that space, we had planned it really well. As easy, and if we could have got them out, it would have been as easy to like leave, because that's what we did. Everything was in place. When we came out that last door, it was like, well, we don't know if it's going to be a shootout or whatever, but let's go.